Okay.
All right. I'm going to call to order the April 11th Fairfield Golf Commission meeting. Let's rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you, everybody. We have a quorum. Let's take a quick attendance for the record. This is Keith Varian.
Mike Arrington.
Mike Feinstein.
Bob Biganet.
Peter Grace.
And who's on the phone?
Peter Sechrist.
Great. And
Anthony Calabrese.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. First, we'll take a vote on the minutes. Anybody have any comments, thoughts, suggestions on them? Look fine to me. All right.
I move that they accepted as submitted.
I second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to assume that it is. All right. Unanimous. Where are we? Anthony. Bob. Pro Manager report.
Hello, everyone. Everything seems to be going great at Smith. The demand is really good. The weather is good. We've had a little funky weather, but when it's nice out, we're definitely getting tons of players. 4-Up is coming along. I've been forced to become a bit of an IT specialist, but we're doing okay. It's changed. I've learned that change is harder for some than others, but we're getting there. I think on the consumer side, the people are liking the 4-Up system. So I think by June 1st, we'll probably have it pretty well oiled. But all in all, I think it's good. Besides that, we got our league starting in a week or so we'll really see what's going on. Besides that, everything's good as far as my end.
Yeah. Anybody, any comments on sort of the course in general? Or
I've had a few questions about tree removal and stuff like that, and I lead them to the USGA report.
Right.
Now available online.
Yep.
So it's all been positive. I haven't really had much negative feedback.
I haven't heard much. Yeah. Good. Okay. All right.
Bob, how are the ID sales going in the first couple of weeks here in April?
I think pretty good. What are the numbers? Did we catch up? I thought we were catching up.
Not quite.
No, number-wise, everything is down compared to last year. I think IDs we were at, according to the sheet, we're at 739. We were at over 1,100 at this point last year. So a little behind. Golf lockers are trailing behind too. I think we've only sold 17 of those, and when we put those on sale last year, they sold out within 5 minutes. So not sure if people aren't seeing the value in the lockers or they're just not at the golf course yet. So anyway,
Anthony, how does the ID sales look versus 2019? Are we closer?
Give me 1 second. I could probably pull that up for you.
That's sort of an unfair question to throw at you right now, but
no. Well, I was homesick today, so believe it or not, I have access to my computer. So that's the nice part about calling into the meeting. I can have everything at my fingertips here. So just give me 1 second while this opens up.
They asking about IDs?
Yeah.
Compared to 19.
I just think it's part of the hurdle of the system. People haven't come to the course. When they're showing up, we're able to do it to them when they get there.
In 19, we're over 19's numbers. We had 706 sold at this time in 19.
Okay.
All right. Liam Heron, just for the record, Liam Heron is now here.
Hi, Liam.
Good. All right. Okay. Anything else from you, Bob?
Nope.
Good. All right. Anthony, you're on.
Yep. Thank you, guys. I apologize for not being in person tonight. I happened to be out sick today. Started talking a little bit about the numbers. As you guys could see, we were down based versus last year in rounds, in passes, in IDs, in lockers, pretty much across the board. So I would agree with Bob that a lot of this is weather dependent, obviously. When when we're getting rained out, it's been on the weekends the last couple of weeks. So, I expect that play will continue to pick up as people, get out as it gets a little warmer. So, happy to take any questions if there are any.
Yeah, this is Keith. That was my initial reaction was, what's causing the drop-off, both in passes and rounds. I think using 4 up probably impacts it a bit. I don't think dramatically, particularly now. The weather has not been good. It has not been a good early season, at least. Still just so cold. I don't know. I'm just kind of curious to hear anybody else's thoughts as to what people think is the reason why the rounds are down a bit.
Well, I can tell you the senior men's club is ahead of prior years in terms of membership. We're up over 120 already. The men's club is about pacing last year, which was a record year for the men's club. And I don't know how you're doing, ladies.
More than last year, about to cut off membership.
And the 90s are way up, right?
The 2 9-holies have already stopped membership because they can't nominate anymore, and the 18-hole league is discussing it because we just don't have that much block time. And it's not fair to take their money and say, you can't play with us, you've got to play it some other time.
So there's 700 golfers, and we're all running ahead of prior year.
What are they
In
playing?
terms of membership.
Not yet.
No, they aren't.
But
that'll pick up.
More of the hardcore golfers. Can it be that life is kind of getting back to more normal times also? And, golf obviously had a huge uptick with COVID. And now that we're kind of getting back a little bit more normal, there's a little bit of a drop off.
I know in my work, tons of people are taking vacation right now because they couldn't for so long. So maybe it's
going away.
People are going back to the
people
office
are doing other
now,
things.
People are going to the city.
Come back to golf
So
a little bit.
Not as easy to play. But
I don't know if we can make up the lag, but once we get going, I think we'll be fine.
All right. So I'm just trying to make sure there's nothing glaring here that, we're missing or that we should address. But it sounds like I think we're all on the same page of probably a confluence of several issues. And as the weather and sort of just gets warmer, I think we'll have more rounds. All right, we'll just keep an eye on it.
I think the cart path only has been affected too.
Yeah. I think but you're really only looking at March.
Yeah,
it's true.
I know.
It's
very
small
good.
sample.
It hasn't been nice. March was not good weather.
Yeah, March is very fickle. I bet if you had a 10-year chart in front of you.
It was closed for 2 days too.
Yeah, it's just,
open and
it's
closed.
a fickle animal.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have a great April.
All right, anything else for Anthony? All right. Peter, what's going on with the course?
Well, it's been pretty busy when it's nice out. Did get some winter damage, but it's on the road to recovery. A couple of the greens got banged up pretty good. And most of them are pretty good shape. Thank my crew for all the work they've done out there. They got the tree work done, and that cart path on one was destroyed. And I want to thank George from DPW. He came up and helped us out and got that cart path space so we could open up. And other than that, I mean, it's just, we're out there airifying, top dressing, but what we really need is some warm weather.
Right.
And the other one was the Kovacs. We're going to put the bench on number 7.
Yep.
And we've been out there. You've seen what we've done between the second tee and the first green.
Yeah.
They said if I get all stumps ground down, they're going to put a nice garden in there.
Oh, is it there?
In his memory instead, and I think that would be very
That's a
beneficial.
perfect place for it. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that it's opened up.
So he's for it. So
Oh, cool. Okay.
we're going to switch it from
And
7
you're
to
good
1.
with that?
I'm good with that.
Oh, good.
Very good with that.
Okay.
That's
a good
make
outcome.
it beautiful.
Yeah, that's the outcome there.
About the furniture behind the clubhouse.
With that?
The furniture.
The golf commission.
Yeah, it's half partly together in the car part right now, but
You
it's,
can use your phone. And
I think I need an engineer. It came in many pieces. So one rainy day we were working on it, and now we stopped. So we'll get them out there.
Get one of the kids that does IKEA stuff.
It's like an erector stuff. But it's
To be honest, me and my guys tried. We tried, we failed.
so they're there.
These guys tried, and
we
we
just
moved on to parks.
We're hoping that Doug Novak, he said he'd help us out too.
Coming tomorrow.
So
It's
In the meantime, there's still 2 picnic tables out there that you can use.
right.
They are nice. They match the benches.
Okay.
I think they're gonna look sharp.
Good. All right, Greens Committee, looks like they're the only one here.
I haven't been out either.
I know.
The good news is I took the cover off my boat today. I can't tell you about the greens.
That's fine.
They're beautiful.
I played it about a week or so ago, and, you'd aerated them, but they were in good shape, so.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be fine. It just,
I played, Friday, and it was wet Friday, but I thought the course played hung in there pretty well.
Cut fairways today. Verified some ladies' fees today, so just trying to stay on top of things.
Okay.
With a skeleton crew.
Yeah. All right, par 3.
Are you up to full staff?
Same boat for me.
Yeah.
I have not played it, part 3 either, but, on the part 3, is there any, I don't know if this is for Anthony or Bob, any update with, I think we're talking to conservation about maybe trying to cut back on that area around the 3rd, 5th hole area?
Marking down the trees a little.
Specifically more in the 3rd hole, on the right side of the 3rd hole, where.
Like the cats knocking, like the weeds?
Yeah.
By the pond there?
Yeah, Level Pond. I don't know if there's a way we can cut that back a little bit, open up that hole a little bit.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
In front of 4 too. A lot of people hit their driver right now.
Right side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I played it on Sunday, and it was packed.
It was?
Like,
Oh.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna be okay.
Yeah,
Right
so
side,
people-
and where was it, 4?
Yeah,
In front of 4. What happens, they can't hit their drivers high enough and they drill it right into
Right.
the bracket right there. I think a lot more balls will make it across.
Oh, on 4? People that drive on that?
Well, because they tee up at the very front of that tee, which is only like 20
yeah,
feet,
yeah,
they don't launch it.
Good point, too.
I didn't think of that.
You want to find balls, you can find a light bulb.
I thought we had to talk to conservation about that.
Yeah.
And I don't know where we left it with it, but.
Yeah, we do. Although I do, a lot of times it's easier to say sorry than have permission, but that's, I will check with, Mr. Bishop.
Yeah, because those are hedges, on the ones that you're talking, or the ones you're talking about, those we should be able to trim, I would think. The ones on 3 that's just,
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can do, but it does kind of grow in there. I don't know, my kids hit in there all the time.
that's like 160, so that's like your driver length. So,
Maybe.
I think 4 would help make the play for sure.
Yeah.
Good.
Duly noted.
Okay. Moving on to old business, the 50th anniversary celebration. Christine isn't here, so I don't know if maybe
I can give an update.
Yeah, might as well.
We are live with registrations. I have not checked how many we have gotten. We did lower the price on the dinner thing from $125 a head down to $106. I really haven't started advertising it. I mentioned the 9-hole event, the banquet. We had a few people come in. They seemed like they were going to be signing up.
Okay.
I think it's going to work. The date, that's great. The 3rd Friday in May. And then the third Friday in July.
Right. 3rd Friday in May, I have May 20th.
It might be July 17th, that's the Friday.
July 15th?
Yeah.
And do you still want some volunteers?
Yeah, I think as we get closer, I think they're both going to work. It really is a good concept.
Okay.
I've heard a lot about it, especially the second one. I think that one's going to sell out quick.
Do you know how much those tickets are?
The second one?
Yeah.
$75.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. That has golf. And I don't want to say wrong, but I can look it up.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. I think it's 75 for the first one and then 106 for the second one. Yeah, 106.
Oh, 106 is July.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's July.
Good. All right. Well, again, put me down for volunteers.
Yeah,
we'd love
I
that.
can volunteer.
You know, the whole volunteering is going to be just checking people in.
Yeah.
Besides that, that's all it literally is. Everything else will run.
Okay.
We don't need anything
Yeah,
else.
whatever you need.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even that, I don't know if I need help in the golf one. Maybe the first one in May.
Yeah.
Because the golf one, people are coming to golf, so you just go to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
carts,
right.
and we're going to have them all set up, and we'll
Right.
have a list saying you go to.
Yep.
We do that a lot.
Well, I'm going to sign up for it, but I'm also happy to sign up and then volunteer.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
That's good. I didn't realize they were live, so that's great. Good. Okay. All right. the long-term capital plan, I sent an email with some questions for everybody, and I think on where we are now is we've had some meetings. Mike updated the spreadsheet to reflect sort of categories, and I think at this point now we really have to just kind of solidify what we want to go in for in terms of what we want to put in the plan. And as I mentioned in my email, the previous plan it was for 10 years, and it was $1 million. It was $100,000 a year, and the money wasn't allocated. We're going to go in, and again, we'll have to talk this through when we put together the actual plan, but we're going to go in with projects, but I want to build in some flexibility to be able to change those projects, because this is going to be a 5 or maybe even a 6-year plan. And so to do that, I want to make sure that future golf commissions can switch the order of them around, but I'd like to go in with a suggested order of what we want to do, actually projects, costs associated with that, and go in and request that money from the town. One option is that we would just request it each year. So, 1 year we go in, the next year we go in for the next project, the next year we go in for the next project, or we go in for a new plan, which I think is the better option. So kind of wanted to talk it through in terms of both how we want to present it, put it together, and then second, what we want to commit to for the projects and in what order. So I'll kind of open it up and see what people's thoughts are. I have, Christine did email me some of her thoughts. So, kind of curious what everybody else thinks.
Well, I would imagine we have a better chance of getting funding if we go in. Am I correct that we would have a better chance of getting funding from the town if we go in asking for a lump sum up front rather than on a certain amount every year? Or is that, I tend to agree with what you're thinking, but...
It's easier, but I don't know if we're going to get any money right now, just because of where the town is and what we just did with the building. I'm hopeful that we do. So I think that it's better to go in with the big project and let them say, we'll give you 2 years or something,
right,
rather than committing to a 5-year plan. So I like that idea better of going in for putting together a plan like the last plan, going to the town, presenting it to them, saying, here's what we think over the next 5 years are the capital improvements needed outside of our normal sort of operating budget.
I talked to Craig Curley last week, and Anthony may be able to chime in on this, but the way they went about it is they laid out the long-term plan with all the projects. They said that they were going to be looking for roughly $100,000 a year. But then about this time each year, Jerry Lombardo originally, and now I guess Anthony, they would go forward and say, here is specifically what we want to do for the next year. If it didn't equal $100,000, some years it was 80, I think in 1 year it was 140, but they modulated from year to year based on that year's specific project content. But they only did a project by project, other than the average of $100,000 a year. They only laid it out a year in advance. Mm-hmm. So if we looked at ours and said, we got $500,000 and we want to do this over 5 years, and we think we could manage it with $100,000 a year just for cash flow purposes or whatever, and then it would be up to us each year, working with Anthony, to go forward and say, okay, our allocation this year, we would like to spend on these things.
Well, I think the cart path should be at the top of the list, personally. I think it makes a big difference.
The one thing about the cart paths, all cart paths aren't created equal. If you look at a hole like number 16, which is unsafe and eroding,
right,
we got to fix it.
Right.
If you look at the 13th hole, which has no cart path, it probably doesn't need one. And so it shouldn't be high on the list. So one option is to say $115,000 to do the whole remainder of the course, so we won't do anything else for a year. Mm-hmm. Another option might say, let's do something. A selected number of the most serious cart path problems, but they need, it's basically on the back nine, right, Bob? Around 15, 16, 17.
7's back.
Yeah,
and then seven needs work from a drainage standpoint, seriously. And when you do that, you can do the cart path.
6 and 10 needs drainage work too. So there's a lot to do out there.
Yeah. So just food, I don't know how you guys want to approach the cart path, but I think to look at it as one big lump, you need to think about the fact that it's made up of sub-projects with different levels of urgency.
What do you think, man?
Yeah, I'm of the opinion CarPath's probably the number one thing as well. In terms of bundling things together for the town, I think that's a good idea too, because, you know, I mean, it's probably not going to go, you know, who knows what we're going to get for this. It might not be year one, but I feel like year 2 or 3. But if we keep, at least we have a structured set of projects and like things we might do over 10 years or 5 years, whatever. You know, if they hear 1, 2, 3 times, by the 3rd time it might actually stick.
Mm-hmm.
Town's got a lot of other things going on these days with the pile and all
That's
that
what I'm
stuff.
worried about.
That's going to be pulling the $400,000 that we make every year to, you know, into that budget as opposed to into the refurb and anything on the golf course.
Is it not economical, like to your point, to only do 6 CarPaths now and do the rest later? In other words, are we paying more if you do it piecemeal, or is, you know, do we get a better deal, so to speak, if you're doing them all up one shot?
I mean, Peter can help me with that, but I think it's economical to do subsets, but do them together, because you have setup, you have to get equipment in. You saw what happened on the first hole. It got torn all to hell.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever we do it, it's going to be a disruption. And we probably need to do it. Peter, I don't think we can get asphalt in the winter, right?
Not in the wintertime, no. It's, they just open up the plants. I mean, I've got it set up to meet with George to, we're gonna look at a few spots, whether it's, that, I think that road is between 10 and, but then again, I got drainage problems there. But to do that CarPath on 16, you know, but the logistics of where 16 is, to get the trucks and everything out there.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, it's,
And once you've done all that, and anything else in that area, around, you know, the 17th hole up around to the tee box on 17 and around.
right. So it's,
The one on 15.
to get the CarPath done, but then we got another mess, so we gotta sit there and probably work a week or 2 to get that all, it's, you know, it's all gotta be done eventually. But, I still have a little money left, and, I'm thinking that 7 CarPath really needs to be done also. So that's why I was working on doing a lot of tree work over there on 6. I'm trying to work my way over there. And, we have a plan going forward. It's just, you know, it's moving at a snail's pace, and, only have so many guys and a lot of things to do.
Keith, people emailed you back, I assume everyone emailed you back from the commission with CarPath number 1, and was this like your order of priority for the most part?
No, everybody just said that we would come available to talk about it, other than Priscilla, who said she wanted the forward tees to be number 1, which,
See, here's the thing, if you sort this by year, and I gave you a summary by year, but in 2022-23, there's $42,000, and there's only 2 CarPath projects there, number 16, and then the CarPath from the 6th tee to the 6th green, alongside number 6. And, you know, I'm going to say there's no rationale to the timing we put in here. This thing developed over 6 months. And like when Peter went in and looked at the CarPath work, he put some dates on it. I assumed, I just accepted them. When we looked at the forward tees, we sort of patterned them in there. So there's nothing magical about the sequencing that we've got in here now. Mm-hmm. If we could come up with a consensus subject-wise to say, okay, we think CarPath is number 1 priority, we probably want to move some things that are later in the time frame up earlier.
So my only other question...
And the forward tees don't all have to be done at once either.
Right.
And there's no logic or cost-effective reason, because they're so spread out over the golf course. I don't think you, Peter. I don't think, you know, if you do number 7 or you do 11 or you...
Yeah, those aren't, I mean, we could, get a few more guys, we could almost do that in-house, which would really have to go forward with a capital plan on that. Because we're not making outrageously big, huge tees, we're just forward tees.
Which is another option. I mean, this is capital, but we've done tee work like on number 4, and Peter and his guys did it. We didn't bring any outside people with it.
Well, what about if we replace, after what happened on the CarPath at 1, at the end of 1, is that something that would happen if we do tree work after we replace the car, you know, if we replace the car path and then do tree work, are we gonna have to go in and repair all the car paths? You know?
Not if the ground's good.
That's true. We do it in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
That's when we try to do it.
That's
Yeah.
why I got thrown
Okay.
out, because we didn't have a good enough.
Yeah, I know, it was soft. I'm just thinking like timing wise, like is it better to do trees before the car path? Solely for the fact of then we're not risking the new car path? If it's not gonna be an issue, then, you know.
Yeah, it's, 16 tree work's gotta be done before the cart pass. I mean, that's all that overhang and stuff, but, no, it's just a matter of getting to it, getting the money, and
Yeah.
got the golfers out there, so it's,
Because I would put car paths and trees as my number 1 and 2 in either order, so that's why I don't feel strongly about the order, on those two.
I think a
Well,
lot
you
of
look
things,
at
I think a lot of it's gotta be done
They go
together.
hand in hand,
Like, with a cart path on between 6 and 10. Well, I got a big drainage problem over there right now. I don't know, it's a huge drainage problem right now, and it's, you know.
That's a good question. As the drainage, if we lay new pipes, is that gonna rip up the car path?
I was gonna ask you, Peter, about the drainage.
Yeah.
What would you prioritize drainage, you know, in your opinion? So you have a better opinion about this
Yeah.
than we do.
Unfortunately, I think we have to start at the pond on 18 and work our way back up across 10, all the way across. And, but I mean, that's a big project. I don't even know what the prices for piping is anymore.
Right.
So we're looking at a big, huge number, and it's almost like fantasy land. It's just like, probably go out there and piecemeal it all together and just try to get the water off the course. Of course, then we start doing drainage, then it gets really dry, and then you don't have a drainage problem, you got an irrigation problem. So it's, no, just, it's the nature of the beast.
So we should do them all in the same year.
Yeah, well, 7 you could do as an isolated project, don't you think, Peter? Because all that wood's in between 7 and 6, down that hill. But then 10 is a big problem, because the original pipes, the 12-inch pipe, main one going down through there is rotted out and it's in bad shape.
Well, maybe to your point, maybe do we just target the 2 or 3 biggest cart path needs, 1 or 2 biggest drainage needs, you know, right? Maybe a couple of forward tees in year 1 and hit the biggest areas first?
Yeah, we can go into the town and say we need $100,000, and here's how we're gonna use it the first year. It's gonna be some car path, some tree work, some drainage.
These are the big areas, these are
Right.
the big screaming
The
areas.
next year,
right?
it'll be car path, trees, drainage in a different area.
Yeah.
Then next year, I'm just making this up, right?
Right.
It'll be forward tees, or we chunk out the forward tees and we add them. Yeah, I'm fine with that too. I mean, all the work is getting done. It doesn't have to be done, you know, we don't have to do all forward tees at one time.
Right.
Or all cut.
Right.
But you're right, so if we were to go, let's talk, so I think what we're looking at here is the list of projects that we would want to come in for, you know, to get funding from the town would be car paths, drainage, forward tees, tree work, and then I'm thinking the new restroom on the back 9. And then the sand, I would probably take out of this, and not include it in our plan and make it a 5-year plan at $500,000 and call it an extension then, because then we would kind of keep the same concept of the 10-year plan, which is we're asking for money and each year we'll tell them how we're going to use it. We'll give them an upfront list of what we're anticipating, but then each year we'll confirm with how we're going to use it, which is similar to what Mike was saying is how they did it. So then I like the idea too of calling it an extension of the existing plan, because it's just, again, it's easier to swallow an extension than a whole new concept. And then, but Peter, I don't, my personal feeling is sand is not a dire issue that we need to do tomorrow. I've got to do these other, if anything, the sand would be for me the absolute lowest level priority on this list.
I agree.
So maybe we don't even put it on there right now.
Yeah, and we can you just go under regular maintenance repair for sand.
All right, so let's call this a 5-year, $500,000 plan. We would go in for $100,000 a year around. You know, again, if one project's going to be 118, that year we went for 118, whatever. But and then trying to think how we want to write this up though.
And take the sand out.
Take the sand out, yeah. Take the sand out. Right. I think what we'd say is each year the Golf Commission will determine how best to use the funds. But here's how we think. Here's how the current Golf Commission believes the funds should be used in the priority order. And again, I think we can add in there that it may be that in any given year, there may be an area of the golf course that needs work in several different areas. And that way we would, but if we were to look at this as just categories, we would, do we even need to put them in order then?
Well,
Probably not.
Yeah.
If we're asking for
These are
certain
the top
things.
five. I would say these are the top five, and each year we'll confirm it, you know? That's my feeling.
Cover this probably just for our purposes,
Yeah.
to help us.
well, but we need to do, I think we need to make two decisions. If we really foresee doing hole number 7 drainage in the next.
Hi, Mike, this is Priscilla. I'm actually, I was able to get on, so I am here, where is she? on the meeting. Yay!
Hi, Priscilla. Good.
Oh,
I'm
there
glad
you
you're
are.
here.
I see you. Hi, Keith. Yep.
I mean, if we're gonna do hole number 7 drainage, that's a project that has to be put together, it has to go out to bid, it's not a simple, it's not as easy as saying, let's go cut down a bunch of trees.
Right.
So if that's our consensus, that we want to do that in the first year of the plan, we should make that choice. And then the second thing is, if we really want to do, and I would assume with that, we'll do the cart path on 7, because it's going to get all torn up. And then if we really want to do the cart path on 16, in particular, which involves cutting all the trees down, right, Peter?
Yes.
I mean, if we're all in agreement with that, I can put together a new list that comes $80,000 to $100,000, and we can take another look at it if you want.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think then the way we were going to present it to town, the list of priorities, like I said, is probably more for us than anybody else.
Do we want to include, like Priscilla, is there 1 or 2 specific tees, forward tees you think we should?
Yes, well, I wrote Keith an email this morning. Keith, did you receive it?
Yep, I have it here.
Okay. So, obviously my priority as far as the T's are concerned is number 7, I think, is needed the most.
Yeah.
And I think Bob and Peter would agree with me with that also. And then then the 14, I think, should be looked at next, because that's another hole that a lot of the women golfers have trouble with. But I think the priority should definitely be 7.
7, 14, and then probably 6?
11.
6, no.
Then 11, and then, 6, because it's just been done. I even though it would be nice to put it up on that next plateau, I think that can wait. I think that can wait until after the other 3. That's in my opinion.
Okay.
Peter, Bob, how do you feel about that?
The worst of all, it's 95 yards short of the criteria.
Is that what they said, Mike? I don't have the report in front of me.
To do it once. Yeah.
Yeah.
7, right, start there. Drainage.
Okay, 7, 14, and 11 were your choices?
Cart path.
7, 14.
Yeah.
And then either.
Is Peter there?
Yeah, I said, you say 7, 14, and 11?
Yeah, how do you feel, Peter?
Oh, I feel great. How are you?
No, about that order.
It doesn't matter to me. We just did that one on 6, and I didn't realize that now we want to move it up the hill some more.
Right, I didn't realize that either until I saw the report.
And there was 11, 7, 6.
7, 14, and then 11.
Asked for one on 10. I'm really surprised that nobody's asked for one on 10.
Yeah. Only 15.
Well, I had originally asked that 10 be made into a par 4 for women, because it's a par 5 at this point. But that doesn't seem to be a priority.
Yeah.
And
Not on the list, but to me.
yeah.
The 9-holers, it's a beast. A lot of people can't fly, ladies can't get it over the,
Yeah.
because they play really
Right.
cool.
So 6 is, so.
Oh, they tee off the back. Is that
Yeah. I would,
First tee shot, yeah.
I would even just put tee markers in the fairway.
Really?
Okay.
Call it par 4 or call it par 5?
I think for those 9ers, it's far.
Yeah.
Bob, what do you think about that?
I think 10's a great idea. I know USGA didn't put it in their report, but they were only looking at it as a par 5, I think, just by pure yardage standpoint, not really understanding the whole.
And actually, I don't think we really took a good hard look, and I think golfers were coming up on it.
Yeah,
They were trying
I
to
don't
move
think we got a
ahead.
feel for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that
Yeah.
I haven't heard any complaints about having it be the length for a par 5, but to add, one stroke onto your score, and I know it's reflected in the rating and everything else, but to have it a par 4 would obviously make the pace of play a lot quicker. But as far as I'm concerned, I'd rather have the other 3 done first.
Those 3 were 7,
Other
14,
3
and
being
11.
what again, Priscilla?
I'm sorry?
What were the 3?
7, 11, 14.
7, 14, 11.
7, 14, 11 in that order.
All right. Gotcha.
And 6 and then 10.
Where those trees came down.
Yeah, perfect.
I don't know. Not close enough.
All right. I think we need to talk about the restroom on the back now.
Yeah, that's the big one that we haven't even.
Anthony, my recollection is last year, somebody put together an analysis, and just going from memory, we thought it was 150,000, and that's the number I put in there. Do you recall that whole thing?
I believe that number sounds correct. It's about 150,000, whether we kept it at the top, near 11, or if we put it back into the woods kind of near, I think, 14. It was going to be about the same price regardless.
Right. Any issue there?
Oh, really? Even though the plumbing is there from the maintenance shed, it would still be approximately the same price?
Yeah. No matter what, they've got to run plumbing. So it's, I think
it
was
okay.
roughly
There's no sewer in that neighborhood. It's all septic.
correct.
Do you know what the 150 included? Like what that was?
Food septic?
That was septic, electric, plumbing.
And probably both the men's and the ladies' separate facilities?
Yeah.
So this also would be a permanent structure, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
There's different kinds of permanent. You can do a trailer on top of a slab, or you can actually put a foundation in and build a structure.
Probably a slab.
If you go down to the marina, you'll see where they put a trailer on a slab.
Doesn't have to be a trailer though. It could be a slab with something on top of it.
That might have been because of the flood zone too.
Yeah. No basement.
Much
over there.
cheaper to do that than to raise it up.
But you know, the alternative to that is to get a much nicer portlet up there. The one that's up there now is embarrassing. I mean, last year we had to fix the door, because the door wouldn't even stay shut, for God's sake. And so an intermediate plan might be, let's put something up there like a, royal flush or something like that. It's not gonna smell and it's gonna be.
Well, Anthony, you looked at that for a while, right?
Yeah, we've been looking at this.
Yeah. Putting a higher end porta potty up there. We looked at it then too when we didn't have a pro shop or we didn't have a clubhouse. We looked at that, and I think maybe it was we couldn't get them. I think it was part of it too, right?
And the price. I mean, they're expensive.
Yeah.
How much are they, Anthony? Do you
I want to say it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 50,000 a year.
Oh, wow. Oh, geez.
Oh, so it's a rental. You could not buy one.
Right.
Well, they're talking about the rental version right now.
Oh, okay.
I mean, to buy it, it's going to still be expensive, but.
Right. What would be most cost effective?
Build.
Yeah, that's what I would think, right?
Yeah.
To build one, I would think. I don't know if that's what it was said, but yeah.
Right,
be
that
my
was
guess.
what was said. Yep.
I mean, I would put it on our list. I think it's something that's needed at the course. Right. The only bathroom is at the clubhouse. The only real bathroom. The only bathroom people are going to really use is at the clubhouse. Right. And we have kind of a limited shelter, for rain and weather up there. We could replace that with, this building as well.
I agree. You put on the list, but it can't take priority over,
I agree with that.
the other stuff.
Right. Let's do the drainage. Let's do that kind of stuff. Yep. So I would put this lower on it, but I would put it on it because I do think the course needs it.
Yep.
I agree. I'm sorry I was late. getting on. I'm down in Florida, but did you talk about the sand at all in the bunkers?
Yeah, so we talked about that briefly. I think what we were discussing was not to include it in the plan, and then just to continue doing that out of our normal operating budget with Peter's crew as needed.
Okay. Because I know this sand, and I know Peter and Bob have talked about this, and I've noticed the sand is in horrible shape, and I know it does need to be replaced. And I think Peter and his crew are they can only do so much, but if it can be replaced under the normal operating budget, that would be great.
Yeah.
Peter, do you agree with that?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
All right. Well, you're the expert as far as that's concerned, so if you feel that can be done, I think that's fine.
I don't hit my ball into the bunker, so I don't really pay
Never watch
attention.
on sand.
Well, you're a better golfer than I am.
It's a hazard.
Okay, so I'm going to read you this list. I'm going to include for 2022-23 the drainage and cart path work on number 7, and we'll see what that comes up to. I'm not sure we should go for $100,000 in that year, given that the fact it's now April.
Yeah.
I don't know how much we could really, as a practical matter, get done. And Peter, you don't want to do any tree work until winter, right?
Yeah, big project, yeah. I mean,
Well, we wouldn't be presenting this at this point until February, so.
So we're not planning to do anything in the balance of 2022?
There's no money. The budget's already done.
Okay.
Yeah, the budget was presented in January and February.
There's plenty of time to work on this.
Yeah.
Is that right, Peter? Anthony, we have no money for this year?
We have no money for what this year?
For any of these capital improvements to the golf course?
Yeah.
Correct. None of these were included in the budget.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a little bit left in non-recurring capital.
Yeah, we have our normal operating budget, but in terms of additional separate capital items.
Okay.
So at this point now, what we're going to be doing is kind of running this as for the next fiscal year.
For 2023, we'll do the drainage work on number 7, the cart path on number 7, the new tee box on number 7. We'll see how much that adds up to, and if there's money left to get to $100,000, I'll take a look at some of the other stuff.
Right.
And I'll put a new list together.
Right.
And Peter and Bob can help me.
All right. Do we have anything else on here?
I can give an update. I've been helping out a little bit with the 4-up stuff.
Oh, good, yeah, please.
Yeah, there's like a little bit less frequent use cases, the ways to use the system, which has popped up recently. It's, I helped out with the bridge between 4-up and the Munis back-end system, and things like partial redemptions of gift cards and stuff. Gift cards were kind of figured out later.
Yep.
And so, there was some bugs and things in that mapping process, so we needed to resolve some of that. And then to resolve that, I gave Kelly, who works for Anthony, a new version of this tool. And then in addition, there's one outstanding issue that has to do with season passes and maybe when you reverse a charge that's like missed charge.
Okay.
And so that's the one outstanding issue. But so those things popped up since it's been live and in operation. Yeah,
Have you gotten
Thank God for
When I got my season pass, it made me do it 3 times. Just
So
have you heard that?
Well,
feedback?
were you a renewal?
From 2 years ago.
That's why. So if you're planning on renewal, you got to come in and prove that you're a resident.
Didn't have to though. I
Somehow you backdoored it. That's bad.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I did.
Well, no, that's bad. But
Took my
that's
$70.
kind of on purpose. We want those people to come in.
Right.
So the only people who got emailed to renew, that whole thing, were the people that had a pass the year before.
Right.
So if you lapsed, there's no way to capture that. But I thank God for Liam is what I said to that whole thing, because I don't think we'd ever been able to integrate the 2 accounting systems. And props goes to Kelly, Park and Rec. She's really taking it on the chin.
It's working great for me now. Like, again, when I go online now, it's easy. I can find the tee times, I can reserve it, I can book it, I like it.
The consumer side's good.
Yeah, so far it's working well.
Better. Much better.
I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I'm having much better luck with it now than I did in the beginning.
Agreed. Yeah.
And that was thanks to Bob, because he helped me with that.
Good job, IT specialist.
I'm sorry to go backwards, but I want to ask Anthony a question. When you say there's no money in the budget, you're talking about the 2022-23 budget that begins in July 1st of this year. So the earliest...
I'm talking about the 20, that's correct.
Okay,
Correct.
so
The 2020...
2023 is the earliest we would... Okay.
Yeah, additional capital, right? We still have...
Fiscal 23, starting July 1st, none of these projects that we're talking about right at the moment are funded in the operating budget.
Got it.
We'd have to go in February to go for
Actually, even earlier.
next July, probably even earlier,
Yeah, it's earlier than that. That's when the budget first is voted on.
Yeah, probably November.
Right. Yeah, it's like late fall, I think, is when it starts.
Yeah, like October, November,
Yeah.
So now, question for you on that. I know, Peter, we were talking about starting to do the 17th this year. Does that mean that cannot happen this year?
That's correct. Unless Peter can somehow get it in with his operating forces, but as part of the capital plan, no, it won't be done this year.
Correct. We don't have the additional capital for it, right? If Peter could do it with his own crew, that's a different question.
And right now, it's, I mean, I don't see why we couldn't do it. I just don't expect it within the next 2 months.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Because I know that you had mentioned that we probably would be able to do it at this point, but I understand. But yeah, hopefully, we can get it done with just with your normal crew and the normal operating costs that that you have.
That's a game plan.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, crew, in terms of communications, we just have one from Brian Zukowskis.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say it wrong?
No, Zukowski. Zukowskis.
Yeah.
Right.
He had a question about EV charging stations. I'll defer to Anthony. Anthony, I don't know, did you even get this email? If you haven't, I can read it to you.
I read it.
Any responses to putting some in at Smith?
It's not up to us. It's up to the Public Works Department, who has a person that oversees, all that the green initiatives. But I'm happy to pass it along. Again, I know they looked at solar and things like that during the construction process, and it just didn't make sense up there financially. So not 100% sure, but I'll pass it along.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously, it's a big parking lot. It can handle a couple charging stations, but yeah, see what you find out. That's the only communication I have. Anything from either of you?
I do. Brian Daly, 195 First Street, Fairfield. Just a question I heard earlier, I think that the USGA report has gone online. Is that correct?
If you go on their website for A. Smith Richardson,
okay,
stuff about the course, there's a new link in there that says USGA report.
It's under policy and information.
So it sounds like
Yeah.
not on the town.
It's on HSR.
I thought we were going to attach
Yeah,
it as part of the
I think
minutes
going
on
forward,
our
we're still going to try to do
golf
that.
commission.
No,
That's what I was assuming after the
a
last
lot of
meeting.
people were asking to see it, so I'll spread that message out.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot easier for them to find it, frankly, on the A. Smith Richardson website now.
Yeah,
It's there.
Yep.
But Drew, are we able to, when you send out the agenda and the backup materials to us, can we have that posted on the town website?
I'm going to have to ask Jackie Bartolome because
Yeah.
I asked Sue, the girl at the town clerk's office, and she said no,
Oh, interesting.
which I don't understand because
Yeah, wow.
they do it for the other
They
one.
do, but that's what, I just assumed, we
Yeah,
all just assumed
so
that's there,
if
because
they-
all the other commissions do that.
Right.
Yeah.
If I can get someone else to tell her,
You want Liam to call?
well, maybe I could talk to Betsy.
Yeah, that did.
Yeah, I'd like all of this, like I said, everything that we sends out to us should be posted on the town website under agendas and backup materials.
Right.
Because the agenda's there, the minutes are there, but we should also have the backup materials there
Right.
too.
I mean, that's what, I mean, Board of Finance and
Yeah, RTM, they'll do that.
Board of
Parks and
Selectmen.
Rec does it?
Yeah.
Arena Subcommittee does it?
All right, see what you can find out.
All right, thanks.
But the USGA report is not on the town website, it's on here. Yeah,
Great.
so, it only took us 6 months.
People are excited about it. You know, hearing about it.
Yeah, it is. It's a good report. Like I said, it's a well-done, well-written report. So, all right. Anything else? Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
A second?
All right.
I'll second.
Great. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for those on the phone.
See you guys.
All right, thank you.